What's up guys, welcome back. Today I bring you another video of me talking to the camera. I can't remember the last time I made a video like this, but I remember that I stopped doing them for one specific reason. And that reason was that my phone storage was garbage. So what would end up happening is that I would have to make quick scripts so I can keep the video dynamic and not over explain things, because otherwise I would run out of storage and it would be a pain in the ass because I would have to delete the video, wait like 5 minutes for my phone to not implode, and then record it again. So that's the reason why I stopped. Now I have another phone with a better camera quality, and on top of that, I have 128 gigas of storage to ramble. So as you know, I like talking, and this feels great. Now, regarding the topic of today's video, we're going to talk about the best back builders. I'm going to give you 5 exercises for you to get fucking swole, especially in the back area. Specifically in the back area. I think it was Jesus that said, "Thy who doesn't have a big back shall not enter the kingdom of God." So you better be writing notes on this one, because you want a big back if you want to go to the afterlife or burn in hell. So we're going to start with the bottom movement, and we're going to work our way up. By no means this is a bad movement. It's, I would say, a great movement and soul movement I would do myself, but there are better exercises out there in a complete program context. So starting off with ring inverted rows. So this movement, I'm willing to say, and you can quote me on this one however many times you want, is the best chest supported row. No questions asked. Like I will not hear your sobbing. It's a complete fact. Not only because of the rotation aspect of the rings, you can target different parts of your back. Try targeting specific parts of your back without a weird attachment in the cable station, in the lat pull down station at your gym. You won't be able to, but you can easily do it with ring inverted rows. On top of that, just body weight is hard enough. Like with your feet on the floor, they're a little bit harder than push-ups. I would compare them to dips, kinda. And then with your feet elevated, in terms of difficulty, I would compare them one-to-one to pull-ups, especially if you have the same tempo for both. So they're really hard, and you can really squeeze the gains of this movement with just your body weight for a long while. Unless you can get like 30 reps with a slow tempo, I better not hear you saying that these ones are too easy. Especially if you can elevate the feet so you're like completely diagonal. This is your head and this is your feet. If you can do 30 like this, you have my respect, dude. You probably have like a massive back. On top of that, this movement is very accessible. You can do it anywhere. Not the ring variation specifically, but you can do the regular inverted rows off of chairs, off of desks. You can hang your rings from a branch. You can do it in a park. You can do it anywhere you want. You want to do it at grandma's funeral? Go ahead. Get Jack there. She won't be there to see it, so why not? Another aspect is that this movement doesn't involve the lower back, and that's not necessarily a bad thing that it involves the lower back. But if you want the movement to solely target the back, this one's great. This one's great. It has a great stimulus to fatigue ratio. You get way more out of less weight, in other words. And it's also going to help towards shoulder health, because it's a horizontal pulling. It's going to develop the whole scapular region and the rear delts, which is going to give you more stability when it comes to bench pressing or when it comes to pressing in general. So, and also going to fix your posture. So there you go. The only con I can say about this movement is that you can't really go weighted unless you have a very specialty vest, like Alex has from Alpha Destiny, where he puts the plates and they stay in place. If you try to do that without the vest, you're going to see that it's just a mess, because the plate shifts and goes back and forth. And unless you want to bring a backpack with chains to the gym, don't. So just go body weight. So with that in mind, the con is that you won't be able to go lower than 8 reps. So you won't be able to make it your main dish, if you will, your heavy hitter of the day for rowing. But you can use it as a hypertrophy movement, which is or as a spammable movement. That's what I wanted to say. You can use it as that to accumulate high amounts of tonnage. Also, another aspect is the fact that this movement is very versatile in the context of programming. You can put it on your upper days, you can put it on your lower days, you can superset it with, for example, your pushes or your triceps isolation. You can superset it with your leg work, for example, with squats, with your neck work, with your calf work, with your adductors, with Bulgarian split squats, with hack squats, with whatever thing you want to do. You can probably put in inverted rows there. It's like the handicap thing you can put on cars to park anywhere, and when the guy comes, you're like, well, exactly like that. So without further rambling, we're going to move to the fourth movement, which is also going to be a ring movement. And I like this movement a lot. I have a version that's going to be number 3 that I like better, but this one is still a great variation you have to try if you want a no bullshit or simple vanilla type of back builder, which is going to be the ring chin-ups with a closed grip. This movement is awesome, especially if you compare it to straight bar chin-ups, which in my opinion, having done all the pull-up variations, they suck ass. They put a lot of strain on the wrist. That's the first thing. When you pull, you're like this. You can't really align yourself the bar to really pull with your lats unless you do that weird NH thing he does where he like doesn't go all the way down. And on top of that, it really takes away from the contraction in my opinion, because I have found that the straight bar 45-degree version is the best of the straight bar versions of chin-ups, because you can really like let it stretch and then let it squeeze properly. But the ring chin-up version is still better, because you can rotate, you can accommodate, you can either go supinated 45 degrees, full supinated, neutral, and if you want to go pronated, go ahead. But basically, because of that rotation aspect, you can accommodate the movement to yourself, to your own like anthropometry, and because of that, you can have an insane lat stretch, an insane lat contraction. And you do this intuitively. It's not like you have to think of like, oh, do I feel my lats better here? Do I not? You just feel it intuitively. I have yet to find a single person that doesn't get an insane lat stretch with the rings. So if you're one of these dead hang deniers that tells you, hey, no, you shouldn't go all the way down on your pull-ups because you're disengaging the lats, make them do ring chin-ups. They're going to be like this. They're going to feel this part right here, like just pulling like this, like it's going to rip apart. It's a really nasty stretch you get with ring chin-ups. Good aspect of straight bar chin-ups, and I think that's the reason why many people include them in their weighted work, especially in the 1 rep maxes, is the supination position. I don't know why. It's more grindable than the pronated pull-up, and even the neutral. I would say the pronated is the least grindable, neutral is more grindable, and supinated is the most. And it also translates to ring chin-ups, and I would say even more, because again, you can adjust to help yourself get those last few reps. The strength curve feels natural, it feels good, and it really allows you to push to failure in a comfortable manner as far as going to failure entails. Another aspect is that it's viable for progression, so with just your body weight. So that means that for most people, if not all, you're basically going to be able to stay with body weight for your whole training career. I'm not shitting you. Especially if you manipulate tempo, you don't really need to add weight to this movement. If you want to, you can, right? If you want to remain in a certain rep range and you want to give a certain role to that movement, you can. But if you want to just stick to body weight, you can do that, like completely, absolutely. So that's another good thing. It allows you to get the best, the most out of the least weight, literally. Then we have the fact of joint health, because again, you have that freedom of movement, which allows you to prevent overuse, and that turns it into a very spammable movement. Both inverted rows and these chin-ups, you can do them every single day if you want to. 2 to 3 sets to failure, go ahead, do them. You tell me if your recovery gets taxed, if your CNS gets taxed from that. It won't. Okay, you're just going to get huge lats, going to be able to glide everywhere you want to. So yeah, that's the ring chin-ups. Now we're going to move to the third movement, which is basically a ring chin-up variation. First, let me drink some water. There we go. We're going to move to L-sit chin-ups with a closed grip. Specifically supinated, between neutral and supinated, so it can be everything in between. The difference with ring chin-ups is that you're having either your knees or your straight legs in front of you, which forces spinal flexion, which stretches the lats like crazy. Of course, you get a higher lat stretch. And if I had to compare them, it would be like easy bar curls for the ring chin-ups. Yes, you get a nasty stretch. You also get a nice contraction, and it's very grindable, it's very progressible. But then these ones are like incline curls or preacher curls. Preacher curls, not pelican curls. I can't believe I confused the two. I deserve to be expelled from the ring community. So the comparison I would do again, the previous ones were like easy bar curls. The LC chin-ups are like pelican curls, because on these ones, these are very hard. Just from the first rep, you're going to get a nasty lat stretch, and once you hit failure in this movement, as with pelican curls, you see a massive drop off. Like the first set, you get like 15 reps, then the next one you get like 10, right? Then the next one you get like 6. So it's like massive. It's a massive drop. It's like the good mornings of pull-ups, because it's super strict. You can't really cheat in this movement. What are you going to do? Are you going to kip with your legs? You have them in front of you. Try kipping with straight legs. You won't be able to. So it's a super strict movement, and that makes it not as grindable. But it means that slow progression translates to high progressions in other movements. For example, one extra rep on LC chin-ups means like 3 extra reps one extra rep on LC chin-ups means 2 to 3 extra reps on ring chin-ups. I'm not shitting you, it's like that, it's super hard. And that means that bodyweight fluctuations are going to make a huge difference, especially in the lower body. If you add just a little bit extra grams to your calves, you're going to notice. The same goes with your quads. If you get bigger quads, thankfully I won't, but if you get bigger quads, you're going to see the difference, and your reps are going to go like this, which is not a bad thing. If you can really squeeze out of your body weight 6 to 7 reps and go to failure like that, keep doing it. It's awesome. Once you get to 20 reps, you're going to be like, man, I wish I could go back to 5 reps. Up to now, I have been able to do 10 reps with a slow tempo, and it's nasty. The next sets were like downhill from there, but I wish I could just get 5 reps, because they're really painful. The stretch is just too crazy to grind through. It's like Bulgarian split squats in terms of like the feeling. Again, if you do a slow eccentric, you're going to be in a lot of pain, okay? If life isn't painful enough, add this to your routine, okay? And this movement, you're going to have it most people are going to have it, unless you're fucking obese, right? You're a body positive activist, or bloat maxing, which that second option is way more respectable. Unless that's the case, you're going to be in the 6 to 15 rep range for most people, and that makes it a very versatile movement. You can basically put it at the beginning of your routine, at the end of your routine, in the middle, wherever you want to. And also it has the added benefit of working your core, which is a thing that most people neglect. Even I myself have neglected core in the past. Now I realize how important it is, both for function and aesthetics. So keep that in mind. It's a great movement. Now, to break with the monotony of calisthenics movement, I'm going to talk about a weights movement. I know, crazy. The fact there is a single exercise that is not calisthenics on this list should blow your mind, especially considering this channel. But it's not just one movement. It's going to be a category of movements. It's going to be T-bar rows. So T-bar rows, because of the way the landmine works, is going to be a lengthened focused movement. It's going to emphasize the stretch. It's going to be the hardest part, and that's a good thing, because the stretch works wonders for hypertrophy. Of course, you want to slow down the eccentric on this movement, even if you're going to do it in a style I'm going to mention in a second. You want to slow down the eccentric and really get that stretch, especially in this movement, you want the stretch. The good thing about this movement is that it is an unsupported row variation, right? So it's going to target the spinal erectors and a little bit of the lower body, but it is just enough so that it works them, but it's not excessive. So if you squat, if you deadlift, I don't, but if you squat and if you deadlift, You can do this movement and you won't feel any type of erector discomfort. They won't be fatigued. Your lower back is not going to be in pain or anything like that. You're going to be able to perform just fine. So you can even include this on your upper days. I think Stefan Training Log, he commented on the last video, he does them in his upper day and he sees no problem with that. So if you want kind of like an active recovery kind of thing for your lower back, that's a good exercise you can try on your upper days. Now, the good thing about this movement is that contrary to barbell rows, for example, you have the bar with barbell rows and you have to stabilize because you don't want them going swinging in front of you or behind you. You want it to be just right. On top of that, you have to be in the hinging motion, and on top of that is concentric focus. So yeah, it's like the T-bar row is like the only, if inverted rows are the best chest supported variations, T-bar rows are like the best unsupported variation, okay? It has that mixture, that perfect mixture of machine-like and free weight-like. So it really allows you to accommodate yourself to the bar and to really pull with the angles you want to and to hinge however much you want to target different parts of the back. But at the same time, it has that secured path that you don't have to worry about while pulling. Just pull and go like full caveman on the movement. So that's great. And now we go into the why it is a category and not just a movement. It's going to be these T-bar rows are very versatile. You can go heavy, medium, or light. Those are the three variations I'm going to outline. We're going to start with the heavy variation. If you want to use it as a heavy hitter or a heavy hitter spammable hybrid, you can try Soviet style rows or cheated T-bar rows. The way you do this basically is you put on a lot of weight, as much as you can. You put the D handle, you grab it, and then you start doing some momentum on the way up to get the bar to, the weights to your chest, and then you let it go down slowly to really stretch, and then you repeat. It's going to be kind of like a hinging motion because you're going to use a lot of leg drive, which is of course going to involve the legs. On top of that, if you let it round your scapula, you're going to emphasize the stretch even more. And it is also going to involve a lot of erectors compared to the medium or light variations. It's going to target the erectors the most. You get an insane yoke stretch, especially in the traps, but not in this area right here. You're going to get it more towards this part right here behind you, like in the neck area, and also in the mid back. It's going to involve legs, of course. And I would compare it in the way you would program for it, strap bar deadlifts, because strap bar deadlifts, although you could argue that they are similar to deadlifts, they are way more spammable, and they are still a heavy hitter, right? But they are way more spammable, and you can push the failure a little bit higher. On Herzoviak rows, personally, I like to go to failure and even beyond. That's because in my program I don't have any type of heavy squats or heavy hinges outside of just 3 sets of deadlift a week, so I can really push the intensity on this movement. And after I go to failure, I then go and start doing shrugs like that, and feels nasty. So it's a really good movement if you want to do a hinge, but really don't want to do a hinge because you don't care about legs, so you want to target your back while training a little bit your legs, something like that. That's the best way to put Herzoviak rows. For example, in a full body routine, you can include it as your leg movement, quote unquote. Or if you're like me, you just have it on your lower days, right? Then we move on to the light variation because I have more to talk about this one. It has a stimulus to fatigue ratio that goes out of the roof. You basically stack smaller plates and then you put like 10 kilogram or 20 kilogram plates after, but you just have like 5 kilogram plates first in the beginning. So it really expands the range of motion, and that for some reason increments the stretch to a higher degree. And also you use way less weight, of course, because you increase range of motion compared to Herzoviak style rows. Of course, you don't use momentum, and on top of that, you elevate your feet to increase even more the range of motion. So you can probably figure that the stretch is going to be insane, but it's not going to be too much for the yoke area. It's going to be for the mid back, so the rhomboids and the mid traps, and the lats. It's a great lat builder, and I think everyone that has tried it can attest to the power of T-bar rows to grow your lats if you do them this way. So yeah, this movement, you can use them as as I said, you can use them on your upper days. You can use it as active recovery for your lower back. And if you're like me, what I like to do is do my heavy shrugs, then I do my deadlift or my Herzoviak rows, and then I do these movements to absolute destruction. So I do as many sets as I can. Usually it's like 3 to 5 sets until my back I can't pull anymore the weight that I'm handling for 6 reps, and that's when I cut out the sets. So it's a movement that you can really like go you can really go to town with this movement, and that's why I like it so much. Now I'm going to briefly say that regular T-bar rows, so without a deficit, and you can without the deficit and without the momentum, you can get like half and half of both heavy and light. You get benefits of both, but in a lesser degree. So yeah, if you want to do a general like T-bar row, not for a hinging purpose or for a pure lat building purpose, you can try regular T-bar rows, and I think it's going to be still better than barbell rows. So I have talked about rows a lot, and I have talked about chin-ups, but the movement I would say that's going to bring you an insane amount of back gains is going to be a time-tested movement, a movement that has been done by both enhanced and natural bodybuilders, and they were all jacked, and has stood the test of time like crazy, which is going to be the wide grip pull-up, both super wide and wide. LC chin-ups are hard, but these ones are harder. They're absolutely brutal. And not only that, they're really grindable. So you get the best of LC chin-ups and the best of ring chin-ups. They are super hard. On top of that, they are very high in stimulus to fatigue ratio because they are so hard that just your body weight is going to be enough because of the leverages. So if you're just using your body weight and you can barely get like 6 reps, that's like the definition of getting more out of less weight. Great stimulus to fatigue ratio, and it's going to get you jacked. Then it's an all-around mass builder. Now this movement is going to grow mostly your teres major, which is going to be like right here. Fuck. It's going to grow your teres major and your lats down here. Especially it's going to feel similar to an iliac lat pull down, but with your body weight. And way better looking. And it's actually going to work to grow your back. Fuck you, Ben James. But it is also going to develop to some degree the rear delts, the traps, the mid traps, and the upper traps as well. Alpha Destiny himself reported that after doing wide grip pull-ups, his traps grew. His fucking traps, the guy that did like rack pulls with 1,000 pounds on each side, and he was like this, did cheated rows and everything like that. Even he got results in his traps from wide grip pull-ups. And on top of that, he got wider and thicker. So if you want to get wide and thick with 2 C's, then definitely incorporate wide grip pull-ups. They are very milkable, so you can first start with 6 reps, right? Then you improve the tempo, then you improve the technique, and then you improve the reps. You have a long way here. You have a full year of progression right there. If you can do 30, I'm not shitting you, if you can do 30 wide grip pull-ups, not super wide grip pull-ups with a slow tempo, man, your back is probably the best natural back anyone's going to see like ever. And if you can do super wide grip pull-ups for more than 10 reps, then man, you're fucking jacked as well. Now, what I'm going to tell you is that you have to find your width. You have to find your sweet spot. For me, it's almost like here. I have tried going like this, like my fucking ape index. Check the long head tricep gains, by the way. But I have tried doing the ape index type pull-ups, the snatch grip pull-ups, I call them. But the best grip width has been this one because it really allows me with a straight bar to really squeeze the lats at the bottom and really let them stretch. With the super wide grip, I just feel I feel it like a row in the sense that I feel a lot of teres major, a lot of upper back, and some lats, but I want to target the lats specifically with this movement, so I just go wide enough pull-ups, if you want to call them like that. Of course, they are an accessible movement because you just need a straight bar, or if you have the luck to have those slopes, those bars that have the fucking slopes at the sides, then you can really accommodate your hands and pull like that to target your lats. But if you have a straight bar like me, what you can do is use straps. You basically have the strap, you wrap it around, and then you really tighten it, so you just pull with your elbows. And that's going to increase the mind-muscle connection, and at the same time, it's going to make the grip far more comfortable. Also use a thumbless grip for this one because it can be tough on the wrist and on the shoulders if you dive on the eccentric, and you pull like this. So like some people like to pull with their arms when they're getting fatigued, so you might start pulling like this. Do not take that out of context. You might start pulling like this and end up injuring your wrist. So that's the list for today. I really enjoyed making this video. This is definitely not the first take, but it really was like better. I think I have gotten better at speaking with the camera, so I'm really happy with that. So I'm going to ask you to leave your thoughts in the comments below, both in terms of my list, give me your list of movements to build your back, and on the format of me talking to the camera. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.